What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to learn how to play drums strumming the acoustic guitar. So I'm not going to go through fancy drumming patterns and things like, percussions all over the fretboard. I'm actually going to talk about rhythm guitar, how you can be percussive and how you can be the drums of what you're playing when you play along to your favorite music or when you play with your friends. Now let's start from the basics, guys. We want to make sure that if you play any kind of rhythm guitar, any kind of strumming really, you know the difference between 8th notes and 16th notes, okay? I'm sure that you've played already strumming patterns and songs in 8th notes and 16th, but the basic thing is saying that if we are in 8th notes, we count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and so every beat has two sounds, the downbeat and the offbeat, which we usually play down, up, okay? Now when we play this, we can already be percussive, right? So in order to show you that, I'm gonna mute the strings with my left hand and just, strum all of the strings completely muted, right? Now the subdivision that we played before, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and was okay, was in time, but it was rather flat. How about playing something like 1 and 2 and 4 and... This sounds already much more like the actual drums, like kick and snare. And this is just because I'm playing an accent on 2 and 4, which is what you do with the snare of the drum kit. Now I could do the same thing even in 16ths. I'm just gonna have more notes, okay? Because I'm gonna play 4 sounds, down, up per beat. But rather than doing it again flat, like 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and I'm gonna do this adding the accents on the 2nd and the 4th beat. So 1E and 2E and 3E and 4E and Now, believe it or not, you're already doing this every time that you play your favorite songs, every time you strum the guitar, really, okay? Even if I get into a pattern which is, super popular, like... Now, in order to add dynamics to what you play, you are certainly not playing everything flat. And things like that, okay? I did talk about dynamics and other tips to, improve your acoustic playing in some of my latest videos. You will find them linked in the description below if you're interested. But the main concept is not every stroke has the same volume, not every stroke is the same. So how can we actually add dynamics to what we play? So in a pattern like the one that I just played, which is in 8th note, rather than counting like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and like that, with all of the notes being exactly the same in terms of volume and dynamics, I'm actually gonna add a little bit more of an accent on 2 and 4. So for instance, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and the first note that I play, like if it was the kick of the drum kit, I'm gonna play it a little bit softer, maybe just hitting a few strings on top, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 This is being percussive. This is understanding the role of the guitar, which is a percussive role on the lineup and ensemble that you're playing with. So you want to be the drums of what you're playing. Okay, so if I take the chords off, this is going to be pretty much the same. The rhythm information is still there. Okay, so we can think of the guitar like playing drums, and adding to the percussions chords and notes here and there. But the main thing is understanding the percussive role of the acoustic guitar. I would say especially the acoustic guitar. This thing applies in a way even to the electric guitar, but it makes a huge difference when we understand this in an acoustic environment. So for instance, if we play in an acoustic trio or duo or lineup, or in general every time you play the acoustic guitar. Now another example which really makes you understand how the guitar is percussive is playing power chords in a more acoustic rock rhythm with all downstrokes in 8 notes, like... when I play something like that, again, I'm not playing everything flat like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. This is boring, and again, it's something that doesn't really add anything up to what you're playing already with the other instruments. So if you want to make the difference, if you really want to hold everything with one guitar and be sort of one-man band, adding bass notes, rhythms and percussions, of course, and chords, what you want to do is again controlling the accents and decide when you want to hear the snare. For instance, the snare is on 2 and 4 now, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... But I could move this accent. For instance, I could have like an accent on the offbeat number 2, okay, and keep the downbeat number 4, like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, and again, if I take the chords off and I just play accents on 2 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then I change that accent to change the position of the snare. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... Okay, use a medium pick, okay, and don't be afraid of playing a little bit louder when you want to make sure that you play the right accents and that you imitate the snare of your drum kits. Now, what else can we do to really enhance the percussive role of the guitar when we play strumming? We can definitely work on rhythms like the example that we were playing at the beginning. And on 2 and 4, rather than playing just an accent, we can actually replace the chord with this, with just a muted sound. We sometimes call this ghost note, okay? In order to play that, I lift the pressure from my left hand, okay? And I just strum the strings like I normally do when I play the chord, but I'm not gonna hear the chord, I'm gonna hear a muted sound. Okay, so the rhythm that we were playing before, it becomes... And if I like this sort of syncopation with, you know, the muted sound of the strings, I can maybe do this over 2 bars. Now, how many times have you heard this rhythm? I'm sure that this is one of the rhythms that you definitely have in mind when you think of this muted ghost note sound. Also, guys, if you want to follow along this video with the notation, the music notation for all of these examples, you can find it on my Patreon, and the link is in the description below, so check it out. That will help you understanding even more these rhythms. Now, everything we said about this, you know, muted ghost note sound could be replaced by classic percussions, whether you play with a pick, so on. This is something that I'm sure that you do already, or you know, it's one of the most common techniques using the percussion on 2 and 4, muting the strings and at the same time creating this kind of percussive rhythm. This also works if you play finger picking. For instance, now I'm just plucking, but you could mix the plucking and your pages. Now, many of these techniques really involve a lot of work on the left hand for the muting. So, guys, depending on the chord that you play, sometimes you can just mute everything with your thumb, you know, like when you play that, and then lifting all of your fingers. Or you can maybe help yourself with the pinky. So if you play an A minor and then you have to mute it, this is something that I do very often, you know, using my pinky. Or depending on whether you're playing a bar chord, maybe, you know, you can use just the bar to go up and mute the strings. like that. So depending on what you're playing really in terms of chord progression, you'll find a different way of controlling the muting and focus on the right hand, only on the percussive role of what you're playing. But the left hand in general needs a little bit of a training, so you really need to practice this to find on each chord you're going to play what's the best way to quickly mute all of the strings and continue with your rhythm. So in the next example, I'm gonna play one ghost note on the downbeats and a downstroke on the offbeats, like. Again, here you really need a lot of control for the muting, lifting all of your fingers and making sure that no string is still ringing, and controlling the accent on the offbeat. So 8, 8, 8, 4, 8, 1, 8, 8, 8, 4. Every time you start the second bar, you can either continue with your ghost, or maybe you can play a bass note or a little strum on top. Yeah, like the chords are important, but what really matters in what you're playing here is to so you really want to become good at controlling this. I'll do it slow first. And once you control it, you just speed it up. This is super fun. Again, it's a very popular rhythm in many different styles. You can mix different techniques, but yeah, really what it matters is to down, because you want to be the drums. You want to play the drums when you strum the acoustic guitar. Now, one last final example. This is taken from an actual song, okay, or the way I play this actual song. I won't tell you what song it is, but if you guys recognize it, please leave a comment below so that I know that you reached this part of the video and that you recognize what song I'm going to play. So I like to play this song with this kind of rhythm. So what I'm playing here, I'm playing two notes, down and up, so 2/8 notes, with a shuffle feel, rather than playing straight, okay? And to be even more percussive, on 2 and 4, rather than just playing a percussion or a ghost note, I play 3 ghost notes. So I play a triplet. So this is super, super percussive, and this becomes 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Okay, check this out on the whole chord progression. Okay guys, so this was just one final example to see how percussive you can be at the ghost notes and maybe working around shuffle feel and triplets. Again, all of these examples have a music notation on my Patreon page, so you can find it there. Head to my Patreon and you can get the full music notation for it. If you guys recognize this last example, I guess that the melody was a big hint. Just let me know in the comments what song I was playing. Right, that's all for this lesson, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure to hit the like button. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you ring the bell, you're gonna get a notification when a new video like this one is up. The Beater Guitar is here. Thanks for watching, guys.